I'm excited about doing this video. Welcome, I'm Ben, or Aped In on Telegram, here at Bullring Crypto. Gonna today teach you a little about automated market makers that have been proposed to arrive on the Stellar network in Protocol 18, due a few months after the end of June. When that will be, we don't know. Some of the developers are anticipating it's going to be October time, so we are literally weeks away from something that's going to change the game. It's absolutely going to change the game for Stellar and its community, because I've been in DeFi since 2020. I've learnt lots about it. I've been involved in different chains, in different protocols, having a hell of a lot of fun, making a hell of a lot of profit. And I know that the Stellar ledger is built for DeFi. The cheap gas costs, the decentralized aspect and nature of Stellar, the community, the speed, everything is just, the peer-to-peer payment, the inclusive nature of Stellar, the fact that, Stellar community is quite vocal in their hatred for the current financial setup. So everything across the board just points Stellar to DeFi and for marriage made in heaven. Okay, I'm not going to bore you with reading through blog posts. That's not what I'm about. Hopefully you understand that by now. I'm just pointing you to this stellar.org blog post, so that you can go off and do your own research. You can read about all of this and exactly how it works. I'm going to actually just show you. I find it much easier to actually show you a little bit. We're going to peep through the window of DeFi, and so that you'll get your juices flowing, knowing what to expect in Lumenswap. My prediction is, the way things are going, Lumenswap can be the #1 AMM on the Stellar network. Yeah, there's no reason why not. Community is growing. Dev team is amazing. People are committed. The helpful nature of what is going on here. Everyone lifting everyone up. There is already incentives for hodlers and for traders. And watch my other videos on Lumenswap. You'll be mind blown with all of the information that they're bringing to us and all of the wonderful things they're helping us out with already. Put the cherry on top of the cake, the automated market makers, and I believe Lumenswap will be the pinnacle AMM on the network. What does that mean? How much gains can I make from that? I hear you cry. Let me kind of illuminate the path for you and talk to you a little bit about TVL. TVL is total value locked, and that means how much each protocol has of our funds locked in them. Let's go across to one of the ones that popped up at the end of 2020. Okay, this is PancakeSwap. Some of you have heard of it, some of you may not have heard of it, some of you may hate it because of its association with Binance and the centralized aspect of that. I think they only have a very small amount of validators, meaning it's fairly centralized and the validators are hand-picked. So for us that are more decentralized purists, that can be seen as problematic if you've got a centralized authority on a network picking and choosing who the validators are. Not necessarily decentralized, is it? So you may dislike this being, Stellar fam, but hey, that's for you to decide. I just want to illuminate what this is about. So as we scroll down the homepage here, look at this figure. 9.1 billion staked. Now, the reason this is so so many people have adopted this, for me, my opinion, is because it was the first mover that dealt with the hideous Ethereum gas fees. You know, I have personally, and this isn't a story I'm picking from someone else, personally paid $320 in gas on the ETH network. Now they've had EIP 1559, where we're starting to burn gas and bring the gas cost down, happened since then. That was at the start of August. So it's a little better now. But the trilemma is still there. It's not completely cured that. We need a lot more to happen for Ethereum to be anything but a significant whale network, essentially. You've got to have some serious wedge to be paying that in gas, haven't you? And it was only because it was a transaction of several thousand in profit that I went through with that. I'm not a lunatic. I wouldn't choose to do that. So first mover was Binance Smart Chain. That came along into the DeFi space, offering transactions for just a few cents. Of course, against many dollars, $4 or $5 against a few cents, people started flocking in great numbers across to Binance Smart Chain. And its ease of use. It was speedy. It was, I believe, is it 14,000, I may be wrong, 14,400 blocks a day, I believe, that sort of speed. So one block about every 3 seconds. I think my maths is right. So you can see it was relatively speedy to get transactions away, faster certainly than ETH anyway. So we had ETH and Uniswap, and then we've had PancakeSwap, and these have been the big boys, in the automated market maker and DeFi scene. Then we started having the birth of many of the others at similar sorts of times, where you had the likes of the old Matic network, Polygon, which was then even cheaper than Binance Smart Chain. So then we had QuickSwap pop up and these other automated market makers on the Polygon network, but that was a bit laggy and a bit problematic, and yes, it was fine, but there was some of the, I'm not going to bore you with the science, but essentially the Web3 wallet, the MetaMask wallet, had some serious issues with custom RPCs. A lot of people were waiting and having problems in getting orders away. So that was a little bit laggy on Polygon, seems to be a bit better now. And of course, we've had Phantom, another one of the what I would consider the mega caps, plus billion at the time, plus billion dollar market caps, and many others. So we had this kind of big wave of DeFi protocols on multiple different chains, popping up here, there, and everywhere, which was brilliant. And I sampled most of them, in fairness, to see which ones were the best. So this is just one, but we've got an obscene amount of our funds locked in here, haven't we? 9.1 billion is huge amounts. And I can show you some of the other different AMMs on different networks at some other time, but I just wanted to show you this and show you really just how the whole system operates. So if we have a look at farms, and this is really the heart of automated market makers, because what we get offered here is we have to make this token, okay? That is our job, is to make this paired token. Now we are going to go and use this because we're talking about Stellar. So it could be XLM and LSP. So you're pairing XLM with Lumenswap token, And when we pair this together, we are going to be paid a reward for doing so. The reason for this is we are now providing this pairing for all of the other people using PancakeSwap to use our funds to buy and sell these two assets. Does that make sense? So we're putting the token in, and then we're paid this based on our investment. Yeah, based on our investment. If that's $2,000, then we're going to be paid $2,000 here. Now, there are certain problems with this, and the main problem is impermanent loss, and I'll come on to that in a separate video. But basically, what we're looking at is we're looking at two assets that can move a lot. They can be extremely volatile in price. So if these dump down, that 2,000 that you put in can dump right down to nothing. Yeah, and it has done on many different platforms. Yeah, so it can dump down to nothing if these tokens aren't big, significant tokens. And we'll come down and have a look at some more in a minute. But you can see that if I put these together, 50% of each in dollar value, then I can earn this reward based on how much I invested. If the price of this goes up, so that the price of these two go up, great. Then that I'm paid the 56% based on the value of this token. Okay, so hopefully I'm not losing you. You can see here the liquidity provided, and this will say to you the total value of funds in this farm's liquidity pool. So the total value of funds is 3 parts per million. And that's, 3 parts of a billion, beg your pardon. So locked into this one. So of the 9.1 billion total value locked, 3/4 of 1 billion is in this one. And you'll tend to find that the majority of the total value locked on these platforms is in their main tokens on the network. Yeah, so we've got Cake here, BNB, we've got Binance USD, BNB. You've got the big ones. They're the ones that have got the big amounts. Yeah. Okay. So now what we've got to say to ourselves is, right, what do you get? Yeah, well, you get the protocol's native token. So again, let's use Lumenswap. What you would get is you would get LSP tokens in reward. So we could pair our XLM with LSP and we could get a reward. We don't know how much it would be, right, but we could get a reward and it would pay out in LSP tokens. So we could take them every day or every few hours, depending on how much we put in, and we could save them, hodl them. We could swap them for dollars, USDC, that kind of thing, right? And then we can go and do some other things with it. So it's providing a yield. Some people call it yield farming, right? It's providing you with a yield. Now, the way that this generally works, again, this is a generalization, is that the more risky the pair, the higher the APR. The less risky the pair, the lower. Let's look at this one. TUSD, yeah, so Terra US dollar, yeah, and BUSD. Oh, sorry, I think it's UST. Sorry, Terra is a UST. So this is a separate stable coin, but still, you get what I mean. So you've got USD, yeah, and a USD. So both stable coins, so both not going to fluctuate in price unless they're algorithmic, but we won't go there yet. Right, we're only getting 14.74% on this, but you can see a lot of people have put their crypto into that because of the stability of the pairing. So they're happy to take 14% per year on this stablecoin pair. Now let's have a look at something a little bit riskier. What have we got? Here we go. Right, this POTS. Yeah, I don't even know what that is, what token that is on Binance Smart Chain, right? I've got no idea at all, POTS. So, but it's paying at the moment this 1,121% APR. Now, if you're in the inside track and you know that POTS is going to appreciate in value, you know, this side BUSD is a stable coin. So you might think, well, I'm going to get involved in this because this is potentially a good thing for me. But these APRs will go down, yeah, down, as the liquidity, as more people put their money in, and we can see it happening already, as more people put their crypto in, should I say, this APR will go down because there is a certain amount of reward and the reward will be shared amongst more of the people putting their crypto in. So I hope this makes sense. The more people that put piling in will drop the APR, and you can see that it's fluctuating around at the moment. Yeah, but it's only 3 parts of a, or sorry, 9/10 of a million, isn't it? It's not high compared to these that are like, 750 million for goodness sake. Right, we come down here and you can see that there's a wide selection of APRs, different farms offering all sorts of different things. And again, you might be really bullish on these different pairs, right? You might be thinking, oh, well, I think this is going to go up and this is going to go up, and you might want to get involved in that, right? That's for you to make a decision. But what I wanted to show you is that this is how that the outlook for AMMs over on the Stellar ledger, this is how it's going to work, right? This is how you're going to see these appear when they are obviously signed off. Protocol 18 is signed off by the validators. Right then, so if we get into the trade, you will see there's a few different options. We've got the normal thing, yeah, and if we go across to our lovely Lumenswap, it looks exactly the same, right? Swap one to the other, yeah. Now what they will do is when this is all up and running, they'll add another tab or two here, which will be about pooling. It'll either say pool liquidity or something similar. Yeah, so these tabs will appear at the top, I would have thought. And then we will have not just the option to swap, but we will have the option to farm. So at the minute, you've got swap, look, and you've got another tab, liquidity. So we can now, if we want to exchange, do what we do here on Lumenswap. If we want to add liquidity, can you see, let's connect a wallet, let's connect a MetaMask wallet, not sure if I'm on that network, switch network, just this course wallet, we'll use this one. Okay, so it's loading, it's on Binance Smart Chain, make sure we are at the top, yes we are. Okay, so add liquidity. Now, what we can see here is we can see that it's a plus. So we have to select one currency plus, not swapping. On the swap, it's an arrow. You're swapping from one to another. In liquidity, and you add liquidity, you are adding them together. So when we come across to the farms, you add these two together, 50% of one, 50% of another. Yeah, if we go back to our liquidity and we add, and we want to put in here, select a currency, we want to put in some BNB. And we want to put in our BUSD. Yeah, so we want to make a pair of these. And you can see now that if I just put in 0.1, yeah, 0.1 BNB, it's a very small amount, okay? But we can see that we have got it automatically populated, yeah? So this is now worth 35. So if I supplied, I'm not going to do it, but if I supplied this liquidity to that pairing that I just found on the farms, we would then have $71, agreed? We would, at this current moment in time, it would be worth $71. 35 on the bottom, 35 on the top. And that's it. We would supply it, and then we would authorize it, and then it would create us an additional token. This additional token would be, yeah, our liquidity pool, our LP token. We would take our token over to the farm, and we would come in whichever one that we decide to go 50-50, and we would put our token in the farm. And if it was this one, for example, we would put it in here, we would enable the farm, deposit the funds, and we would start receiving our 56% on our $71 that we had just created, if it was this pair, yeah? Okay, so that's how it works. So now, let's just say I'm really bullish on LSP and XLM, and I make that pair over here on Lumenswap. Let's just say add. So I put in the Lumenswap, and I've got my XLM, and I put in 1,000 XLM or something. It automatically populates Lumenswap. We could connect or create the liquidity pool token. Yeah, then we go off to the farm and we put it into the farm, and then we start earning interest. So immediately it's giving people an opportunity of what to do with their token. I want to kind of explain that little stage a little bit more for you. let's just say one of the great communities on Stellar is Doge token, or Doggit. I just call them Doggit. Yeah, the Doggit community, Doge token community. Love them. Think they're amazing. What a great bunch. So if we thought, well, you know, I have these Doge tokens, but I can't really do much with them. Yeah, it's a meme token. I love it. It's got a great community. However, we haven't really got a use case. Well, there could well be a farm with LSP and Doge token. So all of a sudden now, we have a reason to, or something to do, a use case for our Doge token, which is to farm it. So we can get our Doge token, we can put it in there, but, and this is the magic, we also need some LSP, don't we? So we can either buy that beforehand, or we can sell some of our Doge token to get some LSP, but we need 50% on the front. Remember what I said about the farms? When we come across to the liquidity, and we add the liquidity, and we select the currency, if we come onto BNB and we put our 0.1 in, we've got to have the other side too. It's a plus deal. So we've got to be able to put in the BUSD. Right, we've got to be a 50% on this side in dollar value, 50% on this side to make it, to supply it. So if we come back here, we've got to have the LSP, and we've got to have the Doge token, or any other pairing. It doesn't make any difference. But I'm just trying to explain this in layman's terms, how it works. So if you've got a big boatload of beer token, Doge token, XLM gold, or anything that at the minute doesn't have that many use cases, yeah, doesn't have many. It might have some, but it doesn't have many. Then all of a sudden on Lumenswap here, you're going to be able to pair it, and you can be able to farm it to earn more LSP to hold. And when you're hodling that LSP, you can be earning divs on it if it's above 10,000 balance per month, which is super. Now let's go and just look at a couple others, and you will see they are, if we have a look at this one, this is one of my favorites. Love the team here. Really, really cool people. I'm not promoting them, by the way. I'm just saying that if you are on a kind of Avalanche, then or the multi-chains that they're on, then Elk is to be trusted, because many of these farms are not to be trusted. Elk has my seal of approval. Right, so if we went into farm, we've got the farm, and you can see we've got some pairings. Okay, same again, different network. We're on Avalanche now. We're not on Binance Smart Chain. So you've got the same thing. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. If we pair these together, the current APR is 90%. Yeah, if we pair these together, current APR 137%, 121, depending on what you're feeling. The good thing about that I like about the Elk network is they're all paired against Elk. You can see everyone is paired against Elk. Bring in liquidity to the Elk token, yeah, because it's obviously their platform. It's not creating other things such as Pancake. It's so big it doesn't need to do this. Okay, the farms here are, if we come down, you can see here, Chess, USDC, yeah? Neither of those are the PancakeSwap native token, yeah? So there's many examples. I don't need to show you any more, but I'm saying that there's different options, isn't there? Loads and loads of different options where it's not even, you know, natively a Binance Smart Chain token. They've come across onto Binance Smart Chain, but it's not native token to them, right? So you've got that where you've got these different variants here because it's such a big farm. But when we've got onto Elk, all of them are paired against Elk. So that might be to some people a bad thing, or it might be some people a good thing. I like it. Brings liquidity to the Elk token, so that's great. Right, so that's just another one. And again, you would just go across here. We would click pool. It's just a different word. It does the same thing. All right, add liquidity, and you've got the plus symbol. It looks exactly the same, does it not? It looks exactly the same. It looks exactly the same like Uniswap layout. Yeah, easy to understand. And then we go across back to the farms and we can deposit our tokens that we've made depending on which pair that we choose to make. Yeah, simple. Easy, easy, easy. One last example. Switch to another network. We're now on Polygon. Polygon here, the old Matic. And again, similar words. We're going to go on to pool, add liquidity. There you go. We're going to add 2 tokens together. And this time it's called rewards and not farm. But the process is exactly the same. We click onto here. He says in a minute it will do it. Let's just try and refresh. Doesn't want to play tonight. Quick swap. Here we go. Oh, it's finally did it, and then it's refreshed. Okay, so if we come down, you can see that they have this similar sort of thing as we saw at Pancake. ETH, USDC, different pairs for you to put 50-50 in terms of dollar value together, so 50% of both. And then again, you've got the rewards and fee. So this one might be a little bit more confusing, but all this is their APR that they're offering you in the Quick token and the fee. So the fee that the protocol is making, all right, and they're giving you a share of that. So all of the swaps that are happening, they're giving you a share of that, and that's combined, the rewards and the fees that they're making, it gives you a 45% APY, so annual percentage yield. So guys, that is an insight into automated market makers and why you should be excited that Lumenswap is going to be one of these. Hurrah, we hear. Cheer. If I could put GIFs onto the screen now, I would. Hooray! And all these trains shoot, and all these people rammed into carriages, and we're leaving the station. You know it's a great thing. One last piece of information for you before I go. Let's have a look at some of the total value locked. Now, this is modest. This isn't the true figures, because if we have a look here at the TV, and I don't know what they're using, maybe they're just using the farming and it is true figures, but if we just go across onto here and go to home and we look at the value locked, which is total value locked, agreed, 9.1 billion, right from the horse's mouth at PancakeSwap, and we have a look at this DeFi llama here, you will see that PancakeSwap is saying it's only 5.19 billion, so it's less. But what is interesting is when we look at chains. If we click on chains rather than just protocols, yeah, it's billions and billions that are locked up on all of these different protocols. Let's have a look. Yeah, 100 billion or thereabouts on Ethereum. Again, it might not be, you know, it may be under in relation to what it is. And it's showing the top 191 protocols on Ethereum. So you can see how many dApps have been built to do this farming, this DeFi, right, on Ethereum. 191, 95 billion locked up in those 191. Binance Smart Chain, we've just spoke about it. 16 billion. Polygon, again, spoke about it. 4.5 billion. Terra, 4 billion. Heco Chain, Huobi Eco Chain, 1.71 billion. Solana, 1.52 billion. Let's look at this. Let's go across. Let's look at, because like I said, you know, when I've done my videos before, I like to flick between. I like to make comparisons. When we start talking about these, if we scroll down to number 20, we've got our beautiful Stellar XLM. It's one of the, what we call blue chips, the mega caps. You know, we're looking at a huge market cap of 7 billion. It's been higher, it's been lower, but I think that we're in a position now where this can really start climbing and climbing big. And it will do when the DeFi comes in, that's for sure. So if you're thinking, come on, Stellar, do something, then I think this doing something could certainly happen in the next few months. But let's have a look at some of those that we've just spoke about. So we've got Ethereum. We've got the Binance coin, haven't we? Cardano doesn't have smart contracts just yet. We haven't got XRP. Polkadot is, the parachains are coming soon, and we will be seeing a large explosion in Polkadot ecosystem. Uniswap we've spoke about already. It's part of ETH. It's the #1 AMM on ETH. As we come down here, we have got Solana, which was up there in the list. And then we come down to Polygon at 19 and Stellar. Come back to our list. Where is Stellar going to fit into this list? Where do we think? Is Stellar going to jump straight into the top 3? Is it a top 5? Is it a top 10? Any one of those we are going to see hundreds of millions come into Stellar DeFi. I think you would agree with my logic here, right? We're going to see a stupid amount come into Stellar DeFi. So where it goes, we don't know. But what we can say is Lumenswap is going to be a potential pancake swap. There are many things we have to consider, many factors, and I will do a separate video because I've gone on long enough. But, right, we have to consider this is the main AMM for Binance Smart Chain. Lumenswap is going to be the main AMM for this Stellar network. And some people are going to say, well, the Stellar itself, and Stellar itself is certainly a decentralized exchange, able to obviously transact different types of currencies and all of that kind of thing. It remains to be seen how they are going to present in terms of the AMM. Right? But as far as a pancake swap, as far as a pancake swap, I think that Lumenswap has all of the credentials needed. When we look at the price and we consider this, because again, flick back, flick forward, we go to pancake swap, which is further down my list. Here it is, pancake swap, and we start making a few little notes on what's happened. Right back here, you'll see the price. 29th of September, so the end of September, the price was very, very, very low. Very low. And then it's kicked in, it's spiked, it's just jumped up. And then it's gone on this little flat line, which was basically 20 odd cents for as long as I could remember, 20, 30 cents. And then it started this January/February climb, where I think I first got involved around about $1.60, so somewhere here at the end of January, and then it went up. I mean, like, and I was like, wow, like up to like $20, I think, just under $20 the first time round, and then we obviously saw that $44 peak back in May. So $44 from, I can't even count the noughts there. Right. Are you getting where I'm coming from? Lumenswap has plenty of noughts at the start and hasn't yet found this plateau before the AMMs kick in. Right. And then we start seeing this climb. The tokenomics here, the circulating supply is 200 million cake. Now, there isn't a max supply because they manage the tokens on Pancake by burning the supply back down again, right? So there's not a max supply. They can just keep minting and giving rewards and so on, and then they bring it back in with big buy-ins and burns, okay? Well, there is a fixed supply on Lumenswap. Lumenswap, if we just click off these for a second, and if I click onto, we'll just take this out. So just off screen at the moment, don't fret, I'm still here. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, if we have a look at the documents, and we have a look at the asset, we can see there is a fixed supply of 1 billion over 10 years. There is no fixed supply here, meaning they can mint. So we have a really attractive proposition. There will never be any more than this amount of tokens, and that won't be for 10 years. Look, it's not until 10 years that all of the tokens are out. So after 1 year, and I've already highlighted this before, so around about 350, I would say, 340 to 350 million tokens, right? That's all that will be circulating after 1 year. So when we consider, and we go back, and we consider PancakeSwap's currently sat at this price, Of course, there's lots of factors to take into consideration, but this is after less than 1 year. Then is it possible that Lumenswap can go to plus $1? You know, someone said to me earlier on the thread, and I found it quite funny, that, you know, $1 probably FUD at the minute, as in fear, uncertainty of doubt of how bearish can I be? You know, and I was like, yeah, you're probably right, actually, you know, in relation to what it can do. And there will be people out there, you know, who are Binance Smart Chain bulls, who watch this video and say, you can't do it because of X, Y, and Z. I'm saying the potential is there. I've shown you the TVL on these different networks. I've shown it you. You can see it here on DeFi Llama. When the DeFi kicks in, multiples of millions pour in. Yeah, some will pour in just from the Stellar community. They will just buy into brand new Stellar products. And some is going to come from these. And the reason it's going to come from these is because this is still expensive. This is centralized. This can be glitchy, you know, and so on and so forth. So people are going to go, hang on, I don't have any affinity with any particular network, such as myself a few months ago. I don't have any affinity with any network. I'm going where I'm making gains. I'm going to turn them gains into the blue chip cryptos. I don't care how I make them. So if people can come to Stellar as well, how much TVL is there going to be on Lumenswap and the other AMMs when they appear on the Stellar ledger? I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's been educational for you and you kind of understand farming a little bit more now and how we can challenge these big protocols on other networks and how we can forge ahead as the #1, not #2, that's first loser, #1 AMM on the Stellar network. Cheers, all the best. I look forward to joining in the next video.